And watch out for Darren Huckleberry. I think his first game, he scored an overhead kick against Norwich live on ITV or whatever it was at the time. And it was, I remember he coming off, that's how you do it, guys, that's how you do it. So I sat down, and from probably minute one, it's just a tirade of abuse on me. It all goes back for me for the night before. Carlton Palmer's getting us up at 12 bells to have a drink. They invited me out to look at the club. Landed and it was -19. It was Jeff and Wright were having a fight with a blow-up swan. So I've gone like that to get up, and he's gone, sit the fuck down. And I've gone. I said, look, Sammy, I don't, I'm not going to sign. And I said, if I did, I'd need this sort of money. He went, well, I mean, what if I don't buy the players a sandwich every day and give you that money?
You hear that?
Yes.
That is Manscaped working to the best of its ability.
That is my nose trimmer.
It's our nose trimmer. You hear it?
You were all right.
Big thanks to our sponsor for the episode, Manscaped.
Get it in your Britney Spears and all.
You know, unbelievable. The number one provider of precision engineering tools.
You can probably turn it off now, John.
For the family jewels. No, big thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring the episode. It's given me a new lease of life, this has, I'll be honest with you.
Do you rate it?
It is.
Oh,
It's a good test on you as well.
Added confidence.
I tell you what else it's done as well. Rose is not coughing as many balls up, is she?
No, well, exactly.
Well, the cats do.
It's trimmed now, and before it was, I don't know, a bit like a mole coming up, submerging from the
long grass
in the shrubbery, and now it's happier. It looks happier.
Yeah, it looks cleaner.
It does. It were a bit pathetic, really. It looked a bit sad in there, But now it's more like a meerkat amongst the dunes.
We don't like to see sad moles, do we?
No.
Nobody likes a sad mole.
Let's see chirpy
It's up and
meerkats.
it's happy and it's chirpy.
Yeah. So when you're doing it, was it one foul swoop all off?
All off.
So it's a flipping good test.
Yeah.
So get it off that.
If ever there's a test, because I've seen that.
No nicks.
It's not great.
It's filth. That's what it is. Filth.
It looks happy.
Yeah, it didn't look happy back in the day. It looked filth. That's what it looked. There were bits of a bit of cornflakes in it and all sorts.
So you can just picture a sad mole to a happy meerkat.
Yeah. Exactly. He's up now. When I unbutton, he's happy.
Yeah.
And you too, ladies and gentlemen, can have a happy penis. All you've got to do is get your Manscaped on the go.
A happy penis.
It's got a strut, and we've got a special offer, as always.
Of course we have.
For you Under the Cosh listeners, the Manscaped Performance Package. Are you interested in what you get with the Manscaped Performance Package? I'm sure you are. You get the Lawnmower 3.0.
Is that?
Precision trimming. No nicks. You also get the Weed Whacker, which John is continuing to demonstrate. Again, that is my Weed Whacker.
That's it at work, that.
You get a lovely pair of boxers, the good gruds as
They
well.
are very good.
Snug little
In fact,
fit.
they're my favourite. They've gone straight in as number one.
Yeah.
Just comfortable.
They're not the Jeff Banks off top spot.
Yeah.
You get a travel bag as well. So when you're out and about, you can take it with you. Aftercare, we're talking the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. We're talking Crop Reviver Ball Toner. And don't forget, you can take full advantage of this offer by going to www.manscaped.com and use the code COSH20. Yeah, good.
Yeah, all good.
Andy Welsh, how are we doing?
Very good, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Good to see you, mate.
I've been missing going at barbers, but fucking hell.
He was having kittens earlier. I'm worried about my partner.
Yeah, it took a lot of pressure off my...
That
my
bro cream
syrup.
as well.
No, it's not. It's just a bit of a dry wax.
You look good.
I think I am. I mean, someone posted a video the other day and the hair was all over the gaff. I was trying to be Beckham. I look nothing like him. Look more like the guy out of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah.
You're very serious.
Very serious. I was angry.
You ran the length of the pitch, beat about 10 players and nearly tripped over, and you just ran back into position all...
I was angry
Pied Albie.
the Pied Albie, yeah. Because the ball came back into me, it took a bobble and kind of ran out of play, so I wasn't happy with it.
So Welsh, you came to Sunderland it was when Mick went on
Mick McCarthy,
he signed loads. I've spoke about it. I bored you many a time with it, but he signed loads from the lower leagues and lads who had potential.
Yeah.
He signed the little rat.
Yeah, I was flying. Yeah. No, I remember it's when I came up there was a lot all you guys in the dressing room, the younger lads, and you'd just been done for paintballing or something.
What am I getting involved with?
So I'm thinking I'm coming to this huge club, and you go straight in with these guys, and he's like, yeah, Gaff wants to see you about the paintballing incident. And then I went to see Mick, and he was like, yeah, listen, we need to keep things a bit quiet. There's been a problem with some younger lads, and you were involved in it, weren't you?
Yeah.
Going around shooting old grannies.
It's a good job. It's a good job you didn't sign 6 weeks before, or else I'd have drafted you in.
I probably would have been involved.
You'd have been sniper.
How old were you when you got to Sunderland?
I think I was 20, 21 at the time.
Right.
So
You're still quite young yourself then, weren't you?
Similar age.
yeah, it was funny because I came into the game late anyway at 16 when I'd signed at Stockport, which is late really now, isn't it? Because everyone seems to go through academy systems and things like that. So when I'd signed at Stockport, it was kind of like I still didn't kind of know what was going on. First pre-season was a graft. I'd never ran like anything like that before. And then when I got into the first team at Stockport, I think it was 18 at the time. It was a bit of a baptism of fire because it was they were in the Championship, and my first game was against Millwall, and I always remember we lost 4-0 on the day, but we were 3-0 down before half time, and I've gone to a warm up thing. I'll have a warm up in Championship against Millwall, and I was 8.5 stone as well. Right?
What?
Yeah, I was honestly. I've gone to warm up, and they're starting a chant about Kit Kat legs and pointing at me and all this, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I've not even played yet. Give us a chance, guys.
Well, it's away at Millwall as well.
No, it was at home, but they brought a big following, and it was, I came on at half time, and I actually got man of the match, but we still lost 4-0. So.
You only lost 1-0 second half, though, didn't you?
Only lost 1-0 second half, yeah. But I always remember it was funny because we had Tim Flowers in net. Obviously, he was coming to the end of his career, and we'd got him on loan from. So I can't remember where it was we got him on loan for, but just lost 4-0 at home. Fans were booing and everything because it was one of them. I think the manager was on his way out, Andy Kilner at the time, and I was late getting into the shower, so gone into the shower, and he's just there whistling in the shower. Tim Flowers just lost 4-0 at home.
Was he at fault for a couple, I take it, as well?
Oh, fucking hell. He got chips on his line and everything. No, I can't remember what the goal's like, but he went, Welsh, listen, it's your first game there today. Don't worry about things. It's when you start hearing the crowd having a go at you, that's when you'll start worrying about your game. So I'm thinking, just lost 4-0. He's whistling in the shower.
Happy as Larry.
Happy as Larry. This is no word of a lie, right? The next 4 games, we've lost 12 goals, and he's been in net for all. We lost away at Preston 6-0.
Still whistling.
Still whistling in the shower. His hips hanging off. He can't lift his right arm. I don't know why he was still playing at that time. No, he was a good guy, though. It's, you learn off people like that, don't you, when they're coming to the end of your career. And I was 18, 19 at the time, I think. So
was Carlton manager when you started?
No. So Andy Kilner was manager, and then he went and Carlton came in. So that season we got relegated from the Championship.
Promoted as from player to player manager?
No. He came in as player manager.
Right.
So we were all thinking, here we go. We're going to start climbing this table here, aren't we? Ex-England international. And he brought Rick Owen. Obviously, he was
Kevin Richardson.
Yeah. Colin Murphy.
Yeah. Murphy from Hull.
Yeah. So, it was an interesting time because obviously Carlton came in, and I think he struggled to kind of coach players that weren't of a certain level. Yeah. But he was funny. He used to do demos, and he used to go, can you just open it up? But to be fair, his technique weren't that great either. So he'd like just open it up and go, and he'd just over back at foot, and it'd fly off there. So you're all sat there, and you're thinking, Rico, give us a ball. And he'd hit it again, and he'd like shank it again. He'd hit people in front of him. And honestly, until he got it right, we'd still be there. So it was, Carlton was one of them as a manager. I just don't think he would cut out to be a manager. The type of person he was, I don't think he could accept some.
How did he do as a player? Because we've heard that did he put himself centre half? And he was.
It was funny. I think his first game, he scored an overhead kick against Norwich live on ITV or whatever it was at the time. And it was, I remember he coming off, that's how you do it, guys, that's how you do it. And it was, I'm sure it was live on the telly at the time. And he came, and I think we beat Norwich. I think it was 2-1 or something, and he scored the winner. I think Albie scored as well, and he come in giving it, that's how you do it. And I don't think we won after that. But anyway, we ended up, getting through, I suppose, them tough periods, and then I started to get more of a run in the side. And
under him, or was it?
Yeah, under him. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we ended season. We had some decent games. Well, we beat Man City. I remember meeting Man City.
Yeah. Did Albie score in that?
Yeah,
that is.
Oh, was
no,
it,
he didn't.
His debut.
No. This was a bit further on than. Albie's a little bit older than me. No, it was at home, and it was Kevin Keane that when they got promoted to the Premier League, City, they won the. Last time they came up, so it was Kevin Keegan's team. But to be fair, Carlton had a great game that day. He had Golter and John Mackin in his pocket. No, he did, honestly.
I bet he fucking let you know
but
about
I tell you something. We had ITV coming in the dressing room before the game. So he said, look, lads, and we're looking at it, and he always struggled saying names or writing names down. So we're all sat there, and he's calling Huckleberry.
Huckleberry Finn up front.
So we're all killing ourselves here. And watch out for Darren Huckleberry. And the best one was Sean Gooter. So we're thinking, hang on a minute. But I tell you what, a tongue twister for him was Ali Benamdia. So obviously Ali Benamdia, what a player he was, by the way. But
he couldn't even pronounce
those three players he was struggling to say that day.
How do you find his character? Especially a young lad.
We've had him
on, and
he's a great guy. Listen, he's one of them. So many stories. I remember just before I signed for the night before I signed for Sunderland, he took over as manager at Mansfield, and I don't know how he got hold of it, but he called me on my house number, and he was trying to convince me not to sign for Sunderland and to sign for him at Mansfield.
I think you're pissing it with there, Carlton.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't sell it. I went, phone's going crackly. So, but no, he's a good career, and I mean, I don't think anyone will have a bad word to say about him.
Albie loved him, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought
his big time shouts and that.
Oh well, yeah, that was funny. Showtime, and remember going out in Preston once. He said, "End of season, we'll go on a." Do in Preston, and we went to Tokyo Joe's and all that lot. And,
big do.
He turns up. Yeah.
Let us know. That's a good Preston for a night.
Oh no! What he did was we went somewhere in Preston. It was like a sports camp or something, and we were doing like archery and all this. End of season, lads, I think, just been relegated out championship. No, I don't want to go and do archery in Preston. You know what I mean? So we went to Tokyo Joe's that night, and he comes out and. He's got like this big black cape on, like Batman, and all you just keep seeing all night is him just turning and like the flaps just kind of flipping round like Batman.
What, an actual cape?
Oh, it looked like a cape. I mean,
was it leather?
The jury's out whether it was a cape, but it was leather.
Yeah.
It was leather.
It weren't fancy dress.
Picture it.
Definitely weren't fancy dress. I didn't get the memo.
If anybody's pulling a cape off, it's Calton.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it was a cape, but it was a long black jacket.
Like a Matrix job.
Definitely Matrix job. Yeah, he was way ahead of his time.
He's a trendsetter. I can just see him in some cream farrows underneath it.
Yeah,
and a pink shirt.
He was, but obviously we had a few nights out with him because he liked to drink, but his eye used to go wandering as well. Because he had a few bevies and that. So
What, to the women or?
no, his eye just wander.
Well, I'm guilty of that now.
You know, I think like he must lose control in one of his eyeballs or something because all of a sudden want to just go. Whoop. So too many to drink there, Carlton. I think. Good guy though.
Was Lambert there in that when I was at
Ricky, yeah, Ricky was there. Yeah. Did he sign Ricky? Yeah, we had Ricky in Fat Club. To be fair to Ricky, he came to us and this probably just some Carlton. We played him centre midfield. So he was playing centre midfield for us and came back for pre-season and he was like, you know, you're not fit enough. You're not getting up and down the pit. And, Ricky, does he know that I play up front? So you'd go in the gym and Ricky'd be on a bike at 8 in the morning, just cycling, trying to get out of Fat Club. But it was just the way he were built. Do you know what I mean? He couldn't half whack a ball. But yeah, he played him centre midfield. And then I think Carlton went and obviously Sammy Mack came in and Ricky started moving a bit further up the pitch. But I think even then, talking about football stories, he was brilliant at Stockport, did really well, but probably didn't get the recognition as what he did when he went to Rochdale, but then he went Bristol Rovers and he just seemed to kick on from there. So it's just funny how football works, really, because he's gone on to play for England and signed for Liverpool, which is unbelievable.
There's
really.
like Grant Holt.
Holt, yeah.
Did you go trial then at Sunderland?
First, yeah. So I went up on, I think it was November time, so I don't think them transfer windows were involved at that point. You could move at any time. So I went up, Mick McCarthy. He brought me in and just said, we will be signing you. We just want to have a look at you because we know you've not played in a while, which I totally understood. You can get that kind of.
At least you knew where you were from.
Well, exactly, yeah.
So
so we played a training game first day, and to be fair to him, he pulled me after the first session and said, we'll sign you. So I just had to agree a deal.
I mean, I spoke a lot about. There was a lot of young lads in that changing room who we didn't run the dressing room, but we probably took liberties, didn't we?
Yeah.
The young lads.
I tell you, it was funny when we went to Marbella and Tommy Myra. Were you?
I feel like I forgot about that, but
he just. He took a dislike in it for some reason.
But I can't remember.
Arrogant Chris coming out.
No, I can't remember what it was.
I remember we were on the beach, and I remember we had a few drinks or whatever. And do you remember was it Jeff and Wright were having a fight with a blow up swan, and it was one of them ones where you think, oh. So like the blow up swans and all that, like they'd let them down, and then Jeff was started whacking it on Wrighty's back. So when it's slapping with the water,
so
right.
But it's like because they're drunk, it's coming across very, very hard, and you're thinking he's got to be pissed to be taking that, and then he's going, "Go on, you whack me now." So they're just fighting with this swan, and I remember Tommy Myra with you just for some reason took a dislike.
What was it about? Was I trying to wind him up or something? Because he was giving us the snooze, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's all I remember about. But it does ring a bell.
He just started, I don't know, he just started saying...
He was pissed, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he just started trying to get you in an headlock and everything. And when Tommy Myra, hands like shovels, he's kind of like, I'm not getting out of this. And I was feeling for you. I was like, fucking hell, Browny, I'm feeling for you down there.
You didn't jump in though, did you?
You
Come on,
Tommy. Yeah, give me that swan, I'll get you out of this.
I think you might have still had the hump from when you first signed.
Yeah, possibly. No, but he was all right, Tommy, though, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was sound. I think he was sound with us after.
Yeah.
But I do remember
I think
being
he was a bit drunk, to be fair.
He was.
In fact, a lot drunk.
But you didn't want to talk about that, the chiropodist story.
No.
Is this when you first signed?
Yeah.
That's what you're referring
Browny
to?
stitched me up, didn't he? Well, listen, we didn't have chiropodists at Stockport.
Well, there would have been some in Stockport, but he was never going to the club.
Yeah, but the pitches were like carpets at Sunderland and at training and that, and thinking, my feet are a bit sore. See lads going in this room, and I'm thinking, wonder what that is there, because there are that many rooms, that big, the training ground, and someone just starts chiropodist if you ever want your feet doing or whatever. So I left it a couple of weeks, and I like first couple of days, you're not going in straight away, are you? That big time yeah. Well, I'm in swimming pool and jacuzzi afterwards. 5 minute sauna, 8.5 stone. What are you doing? Losing weight. So yeah, Brownie. Well, it's up to you. You can tell it if you want. You stitched me up.
I think you just basically asked what went down, and I said, Lol comes in. I think Lol was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lol.
He comes in every Thursday, but he's not getting paid by the club, unfortunately. So the lads normally just look after him. You know,
I don't think you said just look after him. You said give him money.
You've got to pay the bill.
Stop trying to dress it up there like just look after him. You said you got to give him some money. So I've gone in with a couple of quid.
It was a fiver, wasn't it?
I think it was a fiver.
You got him with 2 blisters and a fiver.
Well, I thought I might have even asked him how much you give him, and he's probably said a fiver. Because I would have gone and got cash out, and I got a £5 note out or something. I can't even remember.
Imagine how awkward that transition is. Like you put your socks back.
Oh,
cheers,
it was
mate.
awkward. I remember him looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like,
Treat yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, Brownie said, "Pay."
Lol, get yourself a drink.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, I actually think I just went, listen, you've done a great job anyway.
I think he said, "No, I'm employed by the club, Andy."
Yeah. And I went, I know that. Yeah. No, stitch me up a kipper there, man.
Did you ever get in Harvey mix?
A couple of bits, yeah. It was massive, wasn't it? Everyone was, it was, honestly, he must have been a multi-millionaire off that at the time.
I reckon he was earning more from that than his wage. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. But even stuff like that with music on in the morning, you know, there was a real good camaraderie. You know, Mickey Holland and the dressing room was a huge part. But testament to Mick McCarthy letting stuff like that kind of go on, because I think a lot of managers probably, well, no, Keane didn't like him, did he?
No, he got rid of him,
didn't he? But you know, I remember this. I think you've already told the story, haven't you, about Billy? I know he's
Billy Wilson.
Yeah,
God rest his soul.
I know, yeah. But when we were down in Bath, when lads are taking pictures and pretending to be a bird.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Tell us more.
Oh, you not know it?
No, I can't remember it. My memory's terrible.
So we're on the way down to Bath, and obviously on the bus, and Billy Wilson's saying that he was always on about birds, wasn't he? And like, you know, sometimes you think, you know, has he actually got these birds or whatever? So he said, I've got this fit one, and blah blah blah.
This is pre-Tinder and all that sort of stuff, innit?
Yeah.
So you can't nick a bird on internet.
Nah, it was.
He thought he nicked one.
Yeah, it was a barmaid in his local.
Yeah, and basically, one of the lads started messaging him saying that, you know, this is my new number, you know, I'm missing you and all that. I know you're away for the pre-season, and so he's thinking, you know, and she was like sending dirty messages. Obviously, it's one at lads, but he's thinking, look at this, and he's showing her.
Yeah,
he had a real pride, didn't he? He was showing everyone.
Couldn't wait. He'd come in and he had a big smile on his face. Hey, lads, couldn't wait to get his phone out.
No, he did. He honestly had a real, and you think, and when you were like cringing every time his phone beat because he's going like that, and you're thinking, what's come through now? But I mean, I wasn't involved in it, but there was a young lad, what's his name? Dan Smith. And the lads started taking like pictures of him. So he took his dick under his arse and make it look like it's a fanny or whatever. And like just to get the angle right on a picture and then send this picture through. And obviously Billy'd get, look at this, what she's just sent me.
So he's showing all yours?
Oh, he's showing everyone.
At dinner, you know, all the lads on different tables. He'd be going around every table.
Yeah. So it's like lunch and breakfast, and everyone's like, geez, look at that. And, you know, like egging him on even more.
She's a belter.
Yeah. And then it just got to the point where obviously we were going to out it. The lads then outed it, and obviously I think we were on a balcony or something, weren't we?
Yeah, there was patio, weren't they?
A big reveal.
We're all getting in one picture, and as we're having dinner, we've sent the picture through and rang him or something. So as soon as he got it, we said, right, when he gets outside, hang up, and then the picture will deliver. So we're all there. We can see through this patio door, and he's hung up, and obviously the pitcher's landed, and he just started doing press ups, hasn't he?
Oh, it was embarrassing. Yeah.
As he took it well.
Took a while to start with.
Fair play then.
All the lads are, because if you remember on the way back with Sleevesy, nearly ripped Sleevesy's head off.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think Sleevesy made one joke too many. And I think I don't know if he got him by the neck, but he got right in his face.
He were angry.
First time it was funny, and then just,
to be fair, if he's got down done press-ups and took it well to start with, fair play to him.
Oh, he took it unbelievably.
Yeah, he did.
He did, to be fair. And,
there's still a dent in the pride, isn't there? Even though you're facing it up well.
Yeah.
And it keeps coming.
It's in the back of your mind, isn't it?
And he was a great fella, Billy, and I don't think he wouldn't mind us telling the story.
Great guy, but those are the stories that probably made the dressing room at the time.
Sunderland through and through. When he had
could you tell we didn't have a manager at this point?
Oh yeah, we didn't we? It was Pete Fryer. Physio took pre-season.
Yeah, him and Rico, yeah. But you're on about, going back to, you said about building up and stuff like that. So that summer I'd decided I'm going to try and build myself up a little bit. So there was a guy, remember Ian Campbell?
Yeah. Megatonic. That's where I got the Megatonic from.
Yes. Yeah. So, I started taking niche. I don't think I had Megatonic, I don't think it was that heavy.
That's why you never done so well.
Yeah, exactly. So I started doing, he said, right, come with me to the gym, and started doing loads of weights, and I put on a stone and a half.
Yeah, you got big, didn't you?
Yeah, well...
no, you did. You did.
Was it not big? Yeah, I got big. Yeah.
I'm not seeing Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, I got a big... Yeah, yeah, lads were like, yeah. No, I felt... I'd put a bit of weight, but it was all like I'd kind of not done any leg weights or anything, so my legs probably couldn't carry it. But I was struggling. I always remember I was struggling, and it was... we went down, did the bleep test in Bath. It was like loads of testing in Bath.
Yeah, Bath University.
Kevin Kyle's beating me on a sprint test and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, fucking, listen, mate, is that testing, right?
Remember, Lenny just come back from 4 days in Marbella and won it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was disgusting he were.
It just made us feel even worse because we'd been running all summer.
Yeah.
And dropping out early doors.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm sure there was me, Lenny... There's a couple of others that were really good runners, weren't they? So,
myself.
Pre-season, you were up there. But yeah, it wasn't a good feeling. So I'd kind of not like doing that, whether or not the protein shakes work well or...
Talking of Kyle, I've told this one about when he came in with his new set of Newtons.
Oh, my word. What, have you told it?
Well, not really, but I think I said it was you.
Sunderland.
It was remarkable, wasn't it?
Oh, it was... he had a whistle, didn't he?
For some reason, you perfected it.
I don't know if I can still... Sunderland. So he just... Oh, he hated it, didn't he? He hated it, and I
spent a fortune on these new set. But were they too big, or did he get too many in, or something like that?
Too many.
I think he got one too many.
It was just a prize. It was just a prize for the whole team to win. So fucking put as many as you can in. I want fucking 15 top and 19 bottom, please. Get them money's worth.
They were big, weren't they?
Yeah, but we'd be in the massage room and we just hear you just talking it.
Castle's bald again.
You're just wandering down and sorry, guys.
Has he still got him in there?
Yeah, I'd like to think he's had them chiselled down or something to fit.
Chiseled? Were they that big?
Someone wasn't right because he was just this massive whistle every time he spoke.
Oh, it was funny, wasn't it?
But yeah, it was funny.
No, I don't think he liked it though, did he?
No.
We would take.
If you spent a few quid on your teeth and people then take it piss out, and you're going to get a little bit, aren't you?
But
you've got to ask if they come with a whistle or without. I didn't ask for the ones with the whistle. What's happening here? He's back in, getting him fixed.
When you arrived at Sunderland, were you come from League One, pushing for Premier League, a lot of big names around. Were you apprehensive walking in? Were you confident walking in? Because, you got number 11 shirt straight away, haven't you, walking in?
Yeah, well, I demanded it, didn't I? No, to be fair, it was one of them things I didn't really think about what number I got. I was delighted I got it because I had that at Stockport anyway.
But not, were you? I bet you weren't expecting it. Were you?
Not really, no. To be honest, not really. But in terms,
anything 20 and below, you'll take that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So like your subs, aren't you? Your 12,
Yeah.
13,
What number
14.
were you?
20? Do you remember that?
I knew that. Yeah, no, I remember.
You know.
Weird like that. I remember all squad numbers. Yeah, 20. Yeah.
Things you talk about, was he apprehensive? But there wasn't a lot of big names, really.
No.
I was saying about the young
They
lads.
ended up being big names.
Yeah,
at
they
the
went
time.
on to be, but at the
Yeah.
time there was a lot of lads who come from the. So it probably must have made it easier for you.
Do you know where with Sunderland? I look at it. I look where they got relegated the first time under. Was it Wilkinson or someone? They got relegated.
Wilkinson.
And then that transitional period there when Mick McCarthy came in and then got from. For me, the players, and I'm not just saying it because I was part of the squad and obviously Browny's here as well, but us as a group that season, I think represented the town and the city because we were down to earth people and worked very, very hard. And you know, it's similar to whatever club you go and play for. I think if you can relate to the players, you'll often get a good, rapport with the fans.
Yeah.
And I think that's for me what's probably happened over the years is, you then start getting bigger names and then it's always, they don't fight for the shirt or they don't do that. But one thing that was certainly instilled in me from a young player was first and foremost work as hard as you can. And I think that's, I know that's one of the reasons Mick McCarthy signed me because, I was doing that in the Championship and League One. At Stockport who were struggling at the time.
Yeah.
So, all I knew was first and foremost run as hard as you can within a game and then everything else will come after.
Yeah.
You always, for some reason, I always remember my first ever game at Christmas, around the New Year's Eve time. And just stories like this replay in my head because I never want it to happen ever again. We're playing West Brom away on New Year's Day with Stockport and I knew it was going to be a big game the next day because West Brom were top of the league. I think they had Lee Hughes at the time. They were absolutely flying. Gary Megson were in charge and we got pumped 4-0 on New Year's Day. I'm talking pumped. I'm playing left wing back against two players. I can't remember their right wing back, but he's like this Russian guy who just didn't. He was like a robot, just didn't stop running. And was it Scott Dolby? Do you remember Scott Dolby? Yeah, and they bullied us basically. But it all goes back for me for the night before. Carlton Palmer's getting us up at 12 bells to have a drink. New Year's. So honestly, I swear to God, fast asleep in the room. Phone goes, got to get downstairs now. The gaffer wants everyone down for a drink. So lads are coming down in
pajamas.
What's going on? It's still, half asleep and that. Right, lads, we're having a drink. We're going to see it in style. We're a team. We're together and all that lot. And, he's like, you had to have a beer. You had to have a beer. And I'm just thinking, geez. And then the
what's
next...
he thinking? I was just imagining he's down there with his DP.
Oh, he'll be twatted, Carlton, won't he?
DP for CP, that's what he used to say. DP for CP.
11:30 off. Get lads down. Get the lads down. He's in here in his style.
Rico, do you think this is a good idea? We'll get all the lads out of bed for a drink, eh? Yeah, Carlton, aye.
I definitely don't think Rico would have thought
Round
that
him
were a
up.
good idea.
Round him up.
But yeah, we got a pump in the next day. And I just think stuff like that, you want to be as professional as you can in the game, don't you? So, especially when we came when I came to Sunderland, we had such a good dressing room that fought for each other. And when Mick brought us in, I just wanted to, not give anyone an opportunity to leave me out of a team or a squad. So even if you were left out of a squad or a team, you still worked as hard as you can. A biggest thing is the lads supported each other as well. I didn't, again, go back to that resentment and resilience side of it. I didn't really see much resentment from the lads if others weren't playing and that. It was more a case of we wanted to win the league or we wanted to get promoted.
Would you say best manager you've worked under, Mick?
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt.
He loved you, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think I heard him on a podcast recently. And
I spoke to him. It was just when he went to, was it Cyprus?
Yeah, something like that.
So I hadn't spoke to him in years and so I'll give it, because I'd seen the podcast. I think it was I forget which one it was, but I give him a call and, you know, I had a chat with him. Oh, it's great to hear from you, blah, blah, blah. And I went, so how's it, you know, how long are you going to plan on staying there? Like, and he went, well, to be honest, Welsh, he went, the team in fourth have just gone on like a 10-game winning streak and the guy's just been sacked. So I'll be lucky if I'll be there in 2 weeks. He's Cardiff manager now, isn't he? So he's not lasted that long. So it was definitely a suntan holiday, possibly. But he just took, I think he took Joe Garner out there just before he left, yeah. So Garnes is out there.
Wigan. Did he move from
Yeah.
Wigan?
Yeah, so he's flying, but obviously mixed back here.
I think he is one of them. Does any player that he's signed or worked under, he'd pick up the phone now. There's not a lot of managers would do that.
No, definitely
I don't think.
not.
Any chance of picking the phone up for him to get him on then, or what?
He's going to send us his number. We'll give him a ring after.
Yeah.
Well, she said you'll come on.
Who?
Do you look back with pride though? You know, speaking about the Premier League, you're thinking, you watch a match of the day, you think, I played in that.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I think 16 appearances or something. Really enjoyed my time. Played against United and all the top teams, and that's what you want to do, innit?
Did Bawley play you? But when he because Mick left, it was about April time on
this
March.
was a strange one because Mick sent me out on loan to Leicester, and again, this is for me. I think he knew that Julio was going to be leaving. So what he pulled me in his office and he said, "Look, I know you've not been playing much recently, but you have played a lot this year. I want you to go and get a run of games because next year, you know, I think he'd already kind of
resigned to going down.
Yeah, because we
Not
just
been back.
we couldn't get and we couldn't get a run together. So he'd said, look, go out and get some games. Leicester want you to go there and play, and they were like, I think they were in the relegation zone in Championship at the time. So I just thought, well, I need games. I'm going to go and play.
Had you had some bad games before that? Like, what brought that on?
I hadn't played. I hadn't really played.
So do you feel like you just weren't being given the opportunity?
No, well, he came to me and he said, look, I know you've not been playing much, but I want you to go out and get some games. So, you know, I said, yeah, not a problem. So this was the type of manager he was, wasn't he? He wouldn't just let you sit there and just not play.
Yeah, he'd done that with me.
And I tell you the best thing, you know, one of the things what he always used to say was regarding the reserve games was, you're better off playing a game than training. And he's right, because for me, training isn't a game, and to get match fitness, you need to play games.
I didn't agree with him when we were on the way back from Reading, though, and he's saying you're playing tomorrow night.
I never played it. No, I never played at Reading.
See, I could never get winning them resi games, neither me.
No.
If you could come on, play 20 minutes on a Tuesday night for the first team, and then play R5 the next day at flipping New Ferrens Park. And it's only for our benefit, obviously.
Pitch, though,
it was a good pitch.
Very good pitch.
I don't care if it was fucking Wembley, I'd still want playing reserve.
No, well, I think that was the thing, though. He would just be upfront and honest with you, and he'd just, you know, it's almost as though he had a radar for people that he knew that probably weren't feeling like they're getting a good run at the minute and things like that. And, you know, he just said, look, I want you to go and get some games because next year, if we're in a championship, you'll have more experience under your belt. So I just thought, well, yeah, I'm going to go out and play. And I went there, played 10 games for Leicester, but literally after the first game, Sunderland played Man City away, and Mick I think he got sacked after that game, didn't he? And then Bawley was on the phone saying, I can't recall you, but he wanted to bring me back off loan. Because for some reason I always really got on with Bawley. So he was trying to call me back, and we had United away at Old Trafford, and I didn't get to play at Old Trafford. That was my only thing, really. I played against him at the Stadium of Light, but I would have loved to have played it at Old Trafford, so I never really got that opportunity. But came back off my loan at Leicester, and there was still 2 Prem games left, and Bawley played me in both of them. So
we're already down at this point.
Yeah, we're already down. I think they got relegated at Man United, didn't they?
We drew.
0-0.
And we needed, was it not Newcastle? Might have been, we played Newcastle on the Monday, if you remember.
Well, I wasn't there, I was in Leicester.
And we got the...
So at what point did Mr. King come in?
Um,
You were back, you come back from Leicester.
It it's not a great time for me that at Sunderland, to be honest, when he came in. Because like I said, I was coming back from injury, and as soon as he came in, he signed, and he did great for the club. Go on about it again, resilient and resentment. I didn't resent the fact that Ross Wallace and Tobias Hussain came in, because they were fantastic for the club, played really well, and the club still won the league from the position they were in. But there is also a part of me that feels I could have been part of it. I just wasn't given an opportunity. I just didn't feel like my face was going to fit. And I went on loan to Leicester again. So I went on loan till Christmas, and came back off my loan from there. And I remember me and my missus got back to Sunderland that night, and I got a phone call from my uncle, who was bringing my grandpa back down from Scotland, and my grandpa had a heart attack, and he had to go to Carlisle Hospital. So I shot over from Sunderland to the hospital, because he was, really close to my grandpa and that, and called Keane. He said, "Well, look, I need you back at training, because you're going to be involved." Now, I've just come back off a loan from Leicester. I've not been involved. The lads are flying. And I've said, right, all right, so I've not thought anything of it. And then, he said, I've gone to see, and I've explained the situation. And he's gone, well, do you want to be involved at this football club? That's what I'm asking you. I said, well, no, what I'm saying is, funnily enough, the next game was Leicester away. I've said, am I going to be, I'm not saying I'm not involved, but I've been away on loan for the last 3 months. I'm not going to be, well, yeah, you are. You're going to be involved. So he put me in the squad for the Leicester game, and my grandpa was really ill. Anyway, when, I had to deal with that, we went to Leicester, and we beat Leicester, I think 2-0. I didn't come on, and my grandpa ended up passing away. And for me, that was, he knew the background of what was going on, and I wasn't in the squad the next game. And for me, that pissed me off.
I think that's me. I'm really fucking out. I'm not, whether it's Roy Keane or fucking Nelson Mandela, I'm going in and fucking battering him for that.
Do you think if you hadn't have gone to him, you'd have been in that Leicester squad?
No, because I would. But I had to be honest about the situation of what was going on. My grandpa's, in Carlisle, and listen, I don't know how close other people are to their grandparents, but my grandpa came to every single game of mine. All my family's Glaswegian, so I mean, God bless him. He'd go up and chat with Mick McCarthy after games and stuff like that. As though he knew him, and he'd talk to me like you do Alex Ferguson. He'd go, Alec. So, he was a big part. My uncle was a professional footballer as well up in Scotland, and so my family was, massive on foot, and he was a big part of my football as well. So, whether or not Roy Keane knew what he was doing, I'd like to think he didn't, but it just seemed a little bit strange that I've not been part of something for 3 months, then I go away and I have to stay in a hotel overnight on New Year's Eve to play against Leicester on New Year's Day. And, I mean, we won 2-0 and I didn't even get on. It didn't even look like I was getting on.
Is it hard not to hold a grudge?
I struggled, yeah. I did struggle, but I mean, I've always been one of them players who wants to play football, and I can't sit there and not play football. Hence why I went out on loan, but then I said to myself, right, I'm just going to give it a go. And there was a bomb squad of me, Kenny Cunningham, Clive Clark, Stephen Wright, Rory Delap. There was quite a few of us that weren't involved. I think John Stead was part of that as well, actually, because I think Steady was meant to come to Leicester with me, but he ended up going Derby instead. But it was just, I thought I'll give it a go, and I just, after a month, you're like, I'm not getting anywhere near here, and you don't want to build up. I don't want to be that player that's going into training when the lads are, flying and being. Yeah, you want to be playing yourself. So it was just one of them things that I just felt like my time was up there.
Were your contract running out as well?
No, I'd just signed a new 3-year deal.
See what
that Quinny that gave you that?
All bad.
Well, obviously I moved to Toronto after this.
Yeah.
So I remember going into Roy Keane. This was one of the first meetings after what had happened, and I'd gone in and he'd pulled me and he'd said, "Look, there's a few clubs coming on loan to you," and I knew that there was some that were wanting to sign me, but he'd just gone Plymouth, like the furthest away, Dunfermline, and I'm thinking, no disrespect to them clubs, but at the time I didn't want to travel. Like a ridiculous. I either wanted to go somewhere and go permanently.
Take the cat. The cats needed to be settled.
The cats needed to be settled, mate. Yeah. So what happened was, I just said, "Look, I'll just sit tight." And then my agent said, "Look, Toronto would be interested in signing you."
How old are you at this point?
I think it was 23, 24, something like that. And then one of the players that I knew that was at Sunderland previously, Carl Robinson, he just signed there. So he'd got on the phone to me. He said, "Look, why don't you come? You need to play." And
so Plymouth and Dunfermline are too far. Fuck it, I'll go to Toronto.
I know, yeah. Well, exactly, yeah. Well, I wasn't having it. First of all, I'm thinking, I ain't doing that.
Pretty cold there and all, isn't it?
Oh my! So they invited me out to look at the club. Landed and it was -19. Right.
The cats are going to be freezing.
But the thing is, man, you've just been complaining this conservatory's too cold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's warmer now though. But we went. Well, the reason I went over there is because I wasn't involved at Sunderland at the time. Obviously, I had a couple of moves I weren't interested in. So they invited me out. So I thought, I'll just push the boat out money wise. And obviously, I said, right, I want that. And he said he couldn't do it. And I kind of knew they weren't going to do it. And I'm thinking, well, may as well have tried me luck. Happy days. So I just said to the missus, we'll just enjoy the next 3 or 4 days then. And we're out, we're in Toronto just having tea and toast and things like that. And, flew back and then that were it. Nothing were really happening for a couple of days. And then Toronto called back up and they went, "We'll give you what you want." And I'm thinking, decision to make here. So I thought, do you know what? I'll speak with Mrs. and we decided we're going to give it a go. So obviously went into Roy Keane and I wasn't going to just walk away from my contract. And so I've gone in and remember where the office used to be? So he's sat in front of you there, the door's there. So I've sat down and from probably minute one, it's just a tirade of abuse on me. Right, because obviously I've turned down these other clubs and apparently made him look silly and things like that. And I've just gone, look, I'm not here to be spoken to like that. I've come to you because, I'm contracted with the club. So if it's going to be like this, I'd rather just leave it at that. So I've gone like that to get up and he's gone, "Sit the fuck down." And I've gone, and he started walking around the table. And obviously the door's there and he started walking around the table and he's gone, "Don't know who you think you are, but you're not fucking walking out on me. I'm walking out on you." And he walked out and that was the last time I spoke to him. That were it. So I just sat there, gathered my thoughts for 10 seconds. And just thought, all right, I think that's dead in water then.
I think I'm tampering with his desk, I think.
Yeah.
Summit.
Listen, Niall Quinn was brilliant. Niall Quinn, a lot of respect for him. He ended up sorting everything out for me and he was fantastic. He sorted, he helped everything go through smoothly. And the main thing is I was back playing football at Toronto, albeit, the other side of the world. I love different experiences as well. And, coming into management now, I think that has helped me to understand players as well. Mm-hmm. Having different types of managers, from your Carlton Palmers to Sammy McElroy, Andy Kilner, my first manager, Mick McCarthy, Roy Keane, Brian Laws, all these have probably helped shape me in the way that I want to be as a manager as well.
So, when you go to Toronto then, they've just formed as a club, is that right?
Yeah, first ever season, yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it was a great experience because you're playing at Arrowhead Stadium, which is a 90,000 seater stadium, but I mean, there's only about 20 in it and it looks empty, but yeah, it was not a great experience. So, played against some top players over there. Juan Pablo Angel had just signed out there, but it was Beckham's first season. Some top players, yeah.
And it's kicked on in it, that league.
Massively, yeah, massively.
Were you surprised by the standard when you got there?
I was and I wasn't, because you see some of the players that are there and you think, well, they're not going to play in that league if it's not decent. But I remember we played Chicago Fire, and they had. Do you ever remember Cuauhtémoc Blanco, the Mexican player? He in the I think it was 1994 World Cup.
Striker.
He was a player that someone was running into. The two players tried to smash him in the corner, and he got the ball between his feet and jumped out of it. And see you later.
Yeah.
He were playing in that league at 40, and you're thinking, 40-year-old, he absolutely ran the show. Because it's slow paced, isn't it? Because
you have it, we have it. Type
yeah,
crack.
exactly. Yeah, and it suited him massively. But some real good players there. Real good players. And we played some good pre-season. Well, we were in season, but all the teams from Europe had come and play us pre-season. So we played Benfica. So Rui Costa was playing, and you played against some top players. He were unbelievable. I think Villa came out, Man U came out. So real good experience. Real Madrid.
Were the majority of the lads Canadian or American?
No, majority were American. Really, there was a few. There was quite a few Canadians.
Different on the social side from the English lads.
Yeah, funny banter like sometimes, real funny. But some of the gear as well. Geez. So you come down like for a beer after a game or something, and they've got like this Hawaiian shirt on. It's not fitted there; it's down there. And you're thinking, what's going on? It's down there. But yeah, they're a different breed, I think, in terms of the banter and that, or banter as they call it.
I know Bradley Orr went out there,
Yeah,
and he said it's an unbelievable place to live.
Toronto's
For
beautiful.
a night out and what have you.
Oh, well, we lived I had like a duplex apartment in front of the CN Tower with cats. The cats were there. So they were looking out over. Yeah, no, well, obviously Brownie's mentioned it, but yeah, my cats used to come everywhere with me. So we not with us now, but yeah, they always kind of came to every club to help me and the missus sell.
Little mascot.
Yeah, so we had to fly him out to Toronto. And, but yeah, the funny thing was, I actually bought a house in Toronto, and we never, for the reason so the cats could get outside, because he'd lived in an apartment for like 8-9 months. And then by the time we completed on the house, I'd signed for Blackpool and we were back over the road.
Cats split one team.
Felix, back.
So, yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, that one, I think. So we didn't even get to live in the house.
So how long were you there in total?
I think it was about 10 months or something, yeah. So I played just short of a full season, because by the time our season was coming to an end, the season was starting in England. And if truth be told, probably looking back at it, was I too young to come out? Possibly, but I still felt as though I wanted to play in England, and I felt I felt a little bit annoyed at the way it got left.
Did you think to yourself, if I leave it much longer, I can get forgotten? I can easily get forgotten about over there.
Massively, yeah. And I think that inevitably that is what happened, because I didn't play. Because I was injured my last season at Sunderland for the part of it, I didn't really play. And then if you think I then went to Toronto, that's near enough 2 years that I've not really played in English football at that
So
point.
you still had something to prove.
At 24,
Yeah.
25,
Yeah.
24, 25.
Yeah.
You fall off the radar quickly, don't you?
Definitely, yeah.
Let's
So-
just go for a piss. So when you listed the managers that you take stuff from into your management career, you didn't mention Grayson.
No, I mean, I think the one with Simon Grayson was more the fact that he kind of convinced me to leave Toronto to go to Blackpool, which people might look at that and go, "Why have you done that anyway?"
Very persuasive assignment.
Yeah, but again, because
There's no donkey rides in Toronto, is there?
exactly. Well, he sold the donkeys to me. You can have a ride on Rambo once a week. So, he just said, obviously we're in the Championship, and I know managers say, "Oh, you'll play week in, week out," and you get sucked in by it all. And
We're having a real go this year.
We're having a real go. Yeah, they always say that, don't they? So we're having a go this year. So, he said, 2-year deal. But I'd signed in the MLS. You have to sign in and out of the league because you're actually owned by the league. So I couldn't go and sign with Blackpool unless I signed out of the league. So the deal was done. And to be fair, my agent has a little bit to do on this as well. But I'd agreed a 2-year deal with Blackpool, and then I turned up at Blackpool, and the deal was a 1 year with a 1-year option. So obviously I've said to, the chairman's, that chairman who messed the club about a lot. And obviously I'd said to
Did he
sign.
move the goalposts on arrival?
On arrival, yeah. So obviously I'd said, well, basically sign my deal out of the MLS now. And you'd said that, but again, this is probably where my agent should have had something in writing to prove that it was a 2-year deal. And it just didn't get going, and you'd want to see him, and he'd dive out a back door.
Grayson.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like you can have a word with after training. I didn't know there was a trapdoor in his office. 'Cause I'm there watching that office door like that.
It never comes out.
He is coming out in a minute, and he's through trapdooring in his car. Oh, I forgot. You call him and. On the phone, and I forgot. Sorry, I had something on, and it got to the stage where I was like, "Look, I'm on the bench a lot. I'm not playing a lot, and not only that, you've done me with my deal here. What's going on?"
Did you end up trying to sign the 1 year with the 1-year extension?
Well, I had to. Yeah, I didn't have any other option. So, it was frustrating, and you start thinking, well, what have I done at this point? And again, I felt when I went in at Blackpool, when I played, I'd done well, and got quite a few assists when I played. But we had again, there's no resentment there because there's some top players. Especially I think he brought Paul Dickov in late on, Stephen McPhee. So in terms of the players coming in, there was some real good players. Wes Houlihan was there, and he was different class. But it was just frustrating that I weren't given an opportunity because I'd left somewhere in Toronto where I'd finally got playing week in, week out to come back and go, right, I'm going to give it I'm back in the Championship.
Were you
again.
Enjoying life in Toronto?
Yeah.
Like settling in, but did you feel like you wanted to come back just to prove that you want to play in English football again?
To this day, I still don't know what was going through my head when I thought I'll come back. Because like I said before, I'd literally just bought a house in Toronto.
Right.
So I still had...
so it weren't like you weren't settling in and you want to come back home?
No, my missus, for her to do... She was never one of these that wanted to just sit around doing nothing. So we had to get her a work permit, and she worked in a clothes shop because she wanted to meet people and socialise.
You don't even know if cats are going to enjoy it because they're still in quarantine.
Well, the cats loved it. Yeah.
I love it bouncing it back.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They were just looking forward to being out again. But I think it was frustrating because I never, I felt at home in Toronto, but then there was just something in me that said, no, you need to go home. You need to go and sign this deal, and you're back playing in the Championship. And it was a wrong decision. Because I remember when you sign at a club, you normally go in straight away, don't you? Bearing in mind, I'm flying fit because we're still in season at Toronto. And they played Hull on, I think it was a Friday night, live on Sky. And obviously squad list gone, I'm not even in the squad. And I'm thinking, this is a good start. And this sat in the stand with my dad watching the game. And that was frustrating.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's signed you, because you think if Grayson wanted to sign you, he said, well, we've got a 2-year contract here, and the chairman said, no, it's a 1 year option. You're looking at the manager and going, you need to do that.
Well,
you
exactly.
need to produce here for us.
Honestly, he kept calling me all the time. And even it actually started when I was at Sunderland, because he was trying to get me there on loan to Blackpool from Sunderland. And I just said no. And then it was when I was out in Toronto, he kept calling and texting me. And I'm thinking, well, surely I'm going to be part of his squad then if I'm going in. But I wasn't, was I? Do you know what I mean? But it just doesn't make, to this day, it still doesn't make sense the way I got treated. And I'd rather people just be upfront and honest and say, look, didn't want to sign you, but I could have easily stayed in Toronto. It wasn't a problem.
At what point did you think this is wrong decision?
When I was sat in the stands watching him.
That squad list went up.
Yeah. No, seriously, because when you sign at a club, you usually go straight in, don't you?
Yeah, the manager's making it happen. So you play.
Do you know in the MLS, do a lot of players move between clubs?
Yeah, so again, thinking back.
You think you're 24, you think you could have had a good 10, 12 years career in the MLS?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, the only thing what I didn't like about the MLS, and I found this out, is that you have like a guaranteed contract and a semi-guaranteed contract. So I was on a guaranteed contract, but you're owned by the league. So if they want to trade you, as they call it, you haven't got a say.
Right.
So even if they did
Pack up.
Cats, see you later. We're going to Salt Lake City. What? Yeah. We're going to have to drive. So yeah, it was. I just kind of didn't like the thought of that because we just bought a house. Whether I don't think I thought too much of that, but that was I was aware of that. But I did think, I'd rather go back to England because it is the home of football, in my opinion.
So, did Blackpool not take up the 1 year extension?
Well, in the end, I hadn't played that much, and I wasn't. There wasn't. But I wasn't happy with the way. I'm not going to stay somewhere when I've been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a case of went in and. Not played much this year. I went, yeah, no, and it was just like that. And I just said, yeah, all the best, see you later. And, I was off. Because I wasn't going to stay there. And then I ended up signing down at Yeovil, which, again, cats romp move.
That's what you must have gotten the love back for it, though. Because I think you enjoyed Yeovil. I remember speaking to you at the time. Really?
Yeah, I did. And that was... Whether or not it's because there's not a lot there, you just get your head down and start playing. And, the missus got settled. I was playing week in, week out. I think in 3 years I made 130 odd appearances. So, very rarely missed a game. And that's what it was about for me. Started climbing, the charts in terms of getting assists and things like that in the divisions. And, it was just, again, a situation where... a small club at a level that are probably punching above the weight, if you like. And it was Russell Slade who took me in. And I never forget this. I was number 9.
Oh,
I had Lloyd Owusu's old shirt.
Oversized Lloyd, the big dogs in town.
So a funny story of this is I hadn't... The kind of whole... That summer was the strangest summer. I'd turned down a deal at St Mirren because I didn't want to move up north. And I didn't have anything. So I was like saying to my agent, basically, you've not got me anything. This is embarrassing. Is it Toronto? Is it Sunday? And I said, you can't even get me anything. I said, but it's literally because I wasn't playing any games. So Sammy McElroy calls me up and says, look, manager at Morecambe, why don't you just come in and train with us? So I thought, you know what? I'm not too proud. I'd rather keep myself ticking over till something pops up. So I went in training. His first day, he's trying to sign me. And I'm like, look, no, I'm just waiting. And then obviously Yeovil popped up and Yeovil offered me something and said, no, no, I need more than that. And then they got rid of Lloyd Owusu. So it was literally I went in and filled Lloyd Owusu's shirt. Number 9, there you go. See you later.
I bet they had to change the shirt. I bet it was a bit baggy on your Lloyds.
Very baggy. But I felt, do you know what? I felt so bad for Sammy McIlroy though, because he tried everything to sign me. No, honestly, God's honest truth.
Can't nip like that, mate.
Yeah.
Over here, like.
Yeah. I know, yeah. Can't. So I was training with Morecambe, and he's saying, look, I can get you we've got you your deal, and I've said, look, Sammy, I don't, I'm not going to sign. And I said, if I did, I'd need this sort of money. He went, well, I mean, what if I don't buy the players a sandwich every day and give you that money? And I'm like,
I'd have fucking hated him.
Look at him, he's there,
lads,
bastard. We used to have a bit
the lads, good job, Browny won. So I'm like, Sammy, I can't do it, but we were trying everything, and he nearly got me, right? Honestly, because it was it was transfer deadline day, right? And Yeovil hadn't come back in with this other offer, so I thought, I need to play. When the manager wants you so much, you'd rather play for a manager that wants you than kind of. So I thought, right, let's do it. So we're doing 7-a-sides, like on a Friday, and I'm just on side. There's a bounce play, and the lads are playing at middle, and Sammy McIlroy's like, Welsh, your agent's on the phone, so I'm on the sideline with a phone like that, like this. And he's saying, no, you need to get it done now. And right, well, just give us a sec. Well, obviously, we finished. And he's like trying to get me to sign when I'm on side, popping it. So we left. He said, follow me to the ground and we'll get it all signed. And followed him to the ground, and my agent called up. He said, look, Yeovil have come back in with more money than you first wanted. And they've offered you the deal that you wanted. Obviously, Lloyd Owusu's moved on. What do you want to do? So, obviously, put the handbrake on and spun back the other way.
You're still getting your sandwich.
No, but the funny thing was, it didn't happen that quick. I was sat in a car park at Curry's, just in like Lancaster, speaking with my agent and getting things sorted. And Sammy McIlroy, because I was following the minibus back to the ground, he's like, where are you, Welsh?
You just dusted
I'm
off.
like, yeah. He were calling me phone, and I felt bad because I didn't want to say what was going on, but obviously I had to call him and say, look, Sammy, I lost you. You spun off.
Sammy, you fucking skipped a red light, Sammy.
Deal's off.
Yeah.
I'm not playing for somebody who
I'm back at
drives.
Blackpool.
I'm not playing for somebody who drives as erratically as that, Sammy.
But, what a guy.
Were you all right with that? Do
you know what? And I spoke to him when I was at Bristol Services, and no, he was. He said, totally understand. He said, you need to play as high up as long as possible. He said, I just would have loved to sign you because, obviously I sold you from Stockport to Sunderland. It would have been great to work with you again.
How was Slade?
Bit of a strange character at times, though. Yeah, it was funny because I remember he brought me in, and again it was one of them situations where I started playing under him a lot, and then it left me out a couple of games, and it coincided with a bit of a rough patch for him. But I think he kind of started blaming it on a couple of players. And as a winger, you're always going to get blamed for stuff, aren't you? And, he left me out of a game, and I'd played the majority of the previous games. So you're well within your rights to go and ask, why aren't I playing? So he was fine about it. Match day comes, I'm on bench. So obviously I knew he was on the bench because I wanted the, starting 11 on the Friday. So I'm just sat there, and he's called the starting 11 out of the dressing room. So, us as subs, we were sitting there, does he not want us and waiting?
Wasn't there?
So anyway, they come back in. I think it was Nathan Jones and Terry Skiverton at the time? They were still playing. They come back in, what you said to him? And I've gone, what he's on about, guys? And everyone's going, we've just had a dressing down about you in there. And I've gone, what do you mean? He said, basically, Welsh is coming in asking why he's not playing. Yous need to show him today, otherwise I've made the wrong decision.
Oh, it's really your fault.
I came on after 30 minutes.
Job done. I feel like that was the
Got right in his head. So, but I got on all right with Russell Slade. It was funny when he got the sack. We were on a real good run as well. I think we'd won the last 4 games, and it was a bit of a shock. But then Terry Skiverton took charge as a player manager. Nathan Jones, obviously now the Luton manager, was his assistant. But they were like 2 lads that were part of the coffee club. So it was very, very strange going from that every day to
and then
being your manager.
Assistant manager.
Yeah. But I mean, they did a great job under the circumstances, and
did they come straight away? It's not Terry, it's Gaffer.
pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Which is quite difficult sometimes, isn't it? Because Skivo was a bit of a lad as well. But that's football. If you want to get on in the game, you have to accept that, don't you? And Jones has gone on, and I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Did you play with a loose cannon?
Loose cannon. Who?
Gaz Roberts.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, Russell Slade brought him in. I think it was Skibbo who got rid of him. Wow, yeah. Robbo. He was young. He was meant to be a young lad. He looked about 28.
He looks about fucking 120.
Yeah, I mean, top player. I mean, real good player, but just I think he was one of them that was just loved the game, but just didn't know how to actually live his life outside of the game. I don't know if anyone knows a story regarding we played Leicester at home, and he mentioned about his he'd gone AWOL basically. No one knew where he was, so we're thinking, where's Robbo? And someone said, "Oh, we've heard that his mum's not too well," or I don't know if he'd said that she died or she'd passed away or something. It's harsh, but something had gone on and everyone were a bit sombre about it. And then you're hearing stories that the chairman's giving him money for an headstone or something like that. And it was a little bit like, and then it turned out nothing had kind of gone on. You're thinking, this is a bit strange. And then he'd come in half cut sometimes and all the ability in the world. But just, could anyone get a grip of him? Probably not. I know Luke, get his name now.
Rogers.
Luke Rogers, really, really tried to look after him. But it just didn't happen. But he's one of them that had the potential to go on and play anywhere.
Yeah.
It's mad the amount of people that have said that. How good
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Do I need to put some money aside? It's $6,000 for a fucking headstone.
That's Yeovil, chairman.
Well, that's what I mean.
They're expensive, them headstones, aren't they?
But I think that's where there was a few things that had gone on in the lead up to that happening. And I think this was kind of the final straw as a squad that we thought, we don't want to be part of this type of thing, what's going on here. And he needs help, basically. But I don't know, it's just sometimes people are brought up differently in football, in life. But I mean, you see, when you had him on a once, because when I signed at Yeovil, he'd just signed as well. So me and him were like in a B&B together. So he'd jump in the car with me in mornings and that. And, you were fine one-on-one, but just,
away from football.
Just, sometimes people don't.
Is that Weatherspoons, wasn't it?
Yeah, when we spoke to him, I think it were his friends outside, or the people that he surrounded himself with outside.
What was his pal called who he met in Witherspoons? Ned or something. Just some local boozer in Wetherspoons.
Yeah, but I think in the end, some people in Yeovil were chasing him for a bit of money. So that probably, sums him up in that respect. But he could go and walk into any team. He's that much ability.
Yeah.
And he could be the best player in any team at any level. I rated him that highly, but it was just,
sad, really.
It is, yeah. It is. But, he's a loose cannon.
Would you have said at the time when you were playing with him that Luke Ayling would be playing the Premier League in however many years?
Yeah,
I liked him.
yeah.
When I played against him a couple of times at Yeovil, and I thought he's decent.
Yeah.
Would he be 18? Would he have been 19 at Yeovil?
Yeah, he came from Arsenal, didn't he? Top kid as well. Good banter. I mean, he's one of them players that he's just got an engine that he just never stops running. You could play him. I genuinely think you could play him anywhere on the pitch, and he'd boss it in terms of his attitude towards the game. And it's been great to see him grow throughout his time at Leeds as well. But when he first came in, he was Kit Kat legs like me, not much about him, but he had this steely determination. You could tell he wanted to play, and the following season he started to really make a mark in the team. He were either playing right-sided centre half, and I were playing right wing back, or he'd play, right wing back himself, so he could play a number of positions. And I genuinely think, I know there's Kyle Walker and people like that, but he's surely got to be in the thoughts for England, in my opinion, the way he's playing at the minute. He's very good on the ball, and defensively, he very rarely gets done in a 1v1 situation.
Would you say you were happy again at Yeovil?
Yeah, definitely. You always are when you're playing, aren't you?
You moved out, settled there?
Yeah.
Cats have got a garden to run around in.
Cats have got a little garden there. Happy. You've met some other moggies down there. It's definitely settled. And the main thing was that you're playing week in, week out again. And as a footballer, that's all you want to be doing. And I think going back to my time at Blackpool, the amount of players that were there that you think were good, and some of them weren't playing. I remember he brought Holty in. So Grant Holt, and at the time, he was not struggling at Forest, but weren't getting a game, came into Blackpool. I don't think he played that much at Blackpool. And then the next time I saw him, he'd signed at Norwich, and he just went like that, career-wise.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what it can do, just a change of scenery. And he ends up playing in the Premier League. And, I'm fortunate enough that in my career, I probably did a lot early on. And then, after that, I'm not saying it went downhill, but I just probably didn't make the right decisions on moves, or was unlucky. Yeah. And then things happen in football, but I still had a great career.
Just shows you what managers, playing under a good manager can do. Talking about Holty signing with Lambert. Albie signed for Lambert, took him to the Premier League. Yeah. Luke Ayling he played under a few managers at Leeds, just a middle average championship team. Yeah. Bielsa comes in and they're playing he's standing out in the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm going to stay up comfortable.
Yeah. Managers you just need that bit of luck.
The right pairing.
Yeah. Albie's gone from MK to Norwich, end up spending years in the Championship, playing in the Premier League. Yeah. Palace.
Yeah. Definitely.
Did you you went to Carlisle after Yeovil did? Did you fancy staying at Yeovil?
I did, yeah, but again got told they were having a go.
Carlisle
were having a go, yeah. So
there was the option to stay at Yeovil.
Yeah, so I'd got offered another couple of years at Yeovil under Skivo, and to be fair to Skivo and Jonesy, absolutely loved working under him. But we just had my first child, Lily, at the time, and just felt it was a good time to try and get a little bit closer to him, because Manchester to Yeovil was like 5 hours. It was still probably about 2 hours from Manchester to Carlisle, but at least my mum and dad would have been closer, a little bit of help and things like that. So, made that move and started off all right there, and then.
Did you move back to Manchester way then, and then travel, or did you move up?
No, we moved to Carlisle, yeah, and then it just I tore my calf about, I think it was 2.5 months into the season. So it's quite a big tear as well. So it put me out till Christmas. But when I tore my calf, it was a strange one, because just before that, we'd had me and Greg had probably a couple of words about a game or something, in the dressing room. So not a fallout, but you have disagreements or what have you. And, so it probably couldn't have come at a worse time, that injury, because you always think that a manager's got that in the back of their head.
Stewing in his head for you.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, but then the physio goes, you may as well get yourself off on holiday for a couple of weeks because you literally can't do anything. So me and the missus went to Egypt with Little Un, didn't we?
You went to Egypt?
Yeah, so we came back.
Bet you visited Sphinx.
Yeah. So we came back.
King of the Cats.
So we came back and Greg were a bit off with me, and I'm thinking, he went, you've been on holiday, have you? And I went, well, physio said I could go. I've still got text message on my phone and, I had spoke to him previously. And I don't know whether he was half having a laugh or what, but it just didn't seem right from that point onwards. And then, got back in the team after Christmas, and then it was kind of like in and out. And again, it was gone from a situation where you were playing week in, week out for 3 years to something just don't feel right again. Then end at season. I get a call from Jonesy. We was on holiday in Spain, in Marbella at the time, me and the missus with a Little Un, and got a call from Nathan Jones, and he says, Phil Parkinson wants to sign you at Bradford. Would you be interested? I went, well, I've got a year left on my contract here at Carlisle. Obviously, if he wants to speak to me, just tell him, I'd be interested, but clear it with Greg first or what have you. So Phil Parkinson calls me up, he's selling dream, we're having a go.
You get 18,000 a week.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, he said, why don't you come and meet me when you're back? I said, well, as long as you've cleared it with Greg and everything, not a problem. So obviously spoke to the missus, and next minute, I've checked my phone and I've not had a missed call, but I've got a voicemail. Listen to the voicemail. Greg Abbott's effing and jeffing down phone saying, can't believe you're speaking to other clubs while you're under contract and that. So I'm thinking, tried calling him back, can't get hold of him, tried him 2 or 3 times, not got back, and sent him a text message, didn't get anything back. So I'm thinking, what do we do here? I've got a club that, do I go and speak with Bradford or
another big club as well?
Yeah, and then in the end he said, if you want to speak to him, entirely up to you. So I went and spoke with him, and Phil Parkinson's selling me the dream, and then he offered me a deal. Right, he went, can't get hold of the chairman right now, Andy, but I'll give you a call in a bit and we'll get it all finalised. Never got a call. Right? Never got a call. So I'm thinking, right, I'm away from Carl. Greg's been annoyed with me for, whatever reason it was. And I've had to go back in pre-season. So I think I've got to get my head down here and graft through this.
By the way, you're thinking, I'm an answer cock away from signing for Bradford.
Oh,
I'm just waiting on a phone call.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time we've heard it from him, is it?
Parkinson, no.
Oh, he's not even called me back.
Ring you.
Not even call me back. Me and my missus have a laugh about it still to this day.
Take your phone, I might ring you now.
Yeah, me and missus have a laugh about it still to this day. Like, I'll call, hi Phil, it's Andy, just wondering if you got my message.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you try ringing him?
No, that's what I'm saying. I did. I tried calling him
right,
just to say,
he just didn't pick your phone up.
Never got back to me.
See, I'm leaving him.
So he's thinking, right, I'll just shit stir there a little bit, and I don't know what's gone on, but I've not ended up signing there, and I've had to go back to Carlisle, but again, I've gone back pre-season and I've blasted the running. I've done everything professionally. It's not like I've never been a bad egg anywhere I've gone. It's just a case of all I've wanted to do is play and feel wanted as a player, and that's all you want, really, isn't it? So
that's madness, man.
But I have heard that a couple of times regarding Phil Parkinson.
I wonder how many times he gets that phone call and he just, he must get loads of them.
Just answer it and say,
sorry, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He must get 10, 20 phone calls in pre-season where he's like, can't answer that one.
I don't get that, though, that you would go to a club about a contracted player and go to the,
all that
trouble.
Chasing.
I went to Valley Parade and everything. I
bought the guy who...
I bought a club tie.
Fucking Odin
Yeah, I do wing. Yeah, no, I'd gone to Valley Parade and, looking out over the pitch and selling the dream. How full the ground will be, and they're having a go. So
I'm baffled here.
Maybe just bringing people round and like a bit, like just teasing everybody.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a sense of humour. Like, I've sucked another one in there.
Yeah,
another one, sold the dream.
What? There's misses.
Got on with the time.
Line and sink of this one.
Here he's calling again.
Answer that, love. No, in fact, don't answer it. We'll
He's
just leave him
lasted
with it.
longer than anyone else. This one, assistant. This one.
3.5 years and he's still fucking. Yeah.
37 times I've given away this pre-season. 37.
I know.
Mad.
You at Scunthorpe after Carlisle?
Scunny, yeah. Brian Laws signed me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't hang about. He was straight in there. Season finished, straight on the phone. Can you come and meet me at Glanford Park? So cats are all over the gaff at this point. No, they didn't go. We didn't. We're living in Yorkshire at this point, so I was travelling to places. But Brian Laws signed me there, and good experience in the game with what he's done as a player and as a manager as well. So they'd been relegated to League Two at that point, and obviously favourites to go up. So we actually won League Two that year. I think I had an injury after about 3.5 months. I had to have a knee operation, and at that point, I'd just kind of fallen out of love with the game. When you,
I can understand that because you've had a bit of a rough deal with sounds of it.
Yeah.
yeah,
A lot of things that you might have one, maybe two happen in your career. You've had 5 or 6
Kicks in the teeth.
Yeah,
and that's that's probably what led me to after that season. I just thought, we've travelled around a lot. Cats are looking weary.
the cats have not got another move in them.
No.
They've got another move.
Yeah, and funnily enough, actually, when I had that knee operation, and then it came back, and the lads were flying. We won the league that year, got promoted, and it was just a 1-year deal for me. And the trigger for me to get a new deal was something like 20 appearances. I was already on like 8 or 9 when I got injured, and I just couldn't get back in the team at that point. And obviously,
doing so well.
It was just one of them. I moved on, and
were you thinking to yourself, I hope they start having a bit of sticky patch here?
No,
I need to go back in.
Yeah, not really, because you get a bonus for promotion as well. So on that side of it, you're gonna, and again, going on they're your mates in the dressing room. You want them to do well, and that's what being a teammate's all about.
Pay your bills, are they?
No, they're not. But you want to have memories of being part of dressing rooms that win stuff. I've been part of dressing rooms that's won stuff. Been relegated or been mid-table. So I've had all them types of experiences. But it's always good to look back on, the good times. And again, that's kind of what I take into the management side. Now you can kind of see, the Sunderland dressing room and the Scunthorpe dressing room. It had good characters in. And you see those types of characters on how you can win games, what is going to be a team that will win a league or be close to winning a league. And 9 times out of 10, it's honesty and hard work and characters. So, you try and that's why I've not looked back on that journey as a bad one really with Scunthorpe.
So obviously now Bury manager, is that something that do you look into the player's character even at a lower level?
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
I can imagine it's more difficult though.
Yeah.
You find out players day to day, don't you?
Yeah. But again, I'm doing the hard yards right now in terms of, started at Ossett, bit of a baptism of fire as a manager there. But we won the cup first year, and then we got beaten in the playoffs the second year. And then then I left there and I've obviously come to Bury and, top at league, and the season's been null and void. So,
what were your thought process going for the job? Because that's some task, isn't it?
Yeah.
We talk about managers getting rid of players and bringing their own in. You basically, you didn't have any players. That is a blank canvas.
3 weeks to get a team sorted.
So you got the job. Your first game's in 3 weeks, and you've no players.
Nothing at all, no. And worst thing about it was BBC were following every step. So I'm thinking this first game, please, don't lose it. But we just weren't ready for it. I mean, we lost 2-1. It was in the FA Trophy. Was it the Trophy or the Vars? Not the Vars. But yeah, we got a squad together, and probably I think out of that team there was 7 of them that haven't played again after that game. Not through.
We'll call you.
Yeah. No, it's just
I'm doing a parking.
Yeah.
What time of meeting? I'll let you know what time training is.
Yeah. No, do you know, with stuff like that, I'd never. I'd like to be known more as a McCarthy type character and honest with the players, and I'd rather face things head on than hide behind something and let them work it out for themselves, if you like. But the Bury one, certainly getting players ready for a game in 3 weeks was very interesting. But again, great experience, and hopefully, in years to come, people will look at that and say, well, he can do this, that, and the other. Listen, what happened to Bury FC, it's horrible. It's not a good thing what's happened at all, and it shouldn't happen in football. But I think there'll be a lot more that will go that way at some point, just because of the mismanagement and of the finances.
It's happened to Macclesfield as well, isn't it?
Happened to Macclesfield, yeah.
Corona's not going to help either, is it?
Definitely not. So you might see a bit of a shift. And obviously what they've done now is they've null and voided the season from the Conference North all the way down. So obviously you have League Two, then the Conference North. So there's no promotion or relegation. So I don't think there'll be any relegation from the Conference this year, which means what are those teams fighting for? It's almost as though now it's gone like, well, that's elite, and I know it's non-league, but they're not interested about that side of it. And that needs addressing because, non-league is a fantastic advert for what football is. And in my opinion, I believe at times we have lost that that football ethic of being around the pitch and,
community aspect.
The community aspect, yeah. And that's, for me, what Bury AFC is all about, is that community aspect, and you're close to the players. I mean, I got a letter from a fan regarding one of my players who were effing and jeffing at the linesman, saying, we don't appreciate that language and this, that, and the other. But I kind of like that because they're part of the community there. Yeah. You're not going to stop players doing that.
You're right, back saying, fuck off, you miserable.
No, I just said, I'll tell him.
I'll speak to him.
Yeah. But, that to me is what football has lost in some respects, because I can't remember the last time I went to watch a Premier League game, because I think it might have been at Man City or something, and there was no atmosphere there. Yeah. And obviously you guys have played in games with atmosphere, and certainly at the Bury games so far, the atmosphere has been incredible.
So they're having a go.
It's taking it back to its roots, I suppose, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, that's what football is when you strip it all back. But that's why it was created as a community event, and bringing the community together before, obviously, all the football, the money and everything got it to where it is now.
Yeah.
That's what it was there for. And then when you take a town's club away, it strips it back to, we still need that. We still need it.
I think a lot of, mental health now has become more prominent, hasn't it? And I think, in terms of the players, what about the fans as well? And, those fans haven't, if you watch the documentary, Chris, the chairman, was on about his kid who passed away, and he used to make it a ritual before the home games of going to the grave, which was close to Gig Lane. But he now doesn't have that, link between going to see his son and going to the game. So there's so much more to kind of a football club other than just going out and playing a game on a Saturday or a Tuesday. It is a community driven thing, and that's what I love and what I like to build. And it's something that I did with Ossett, got out in the schools. We took a fan base that was, they were only getting 75 fans. The second season we averaged 500 a week, which at the level we were at is very, very good, going from that to that. And now they've got a real good community that will go and watch the club. And that's what, Bury is on its way to doing now, is it's got a football club back that people can watch and be proud of.
Well, cheers, mate.
Yeah,
all the best with everything at Bury.
Cheers, guys.
Good luck, mate.
And I will try and lose 3 scores.
Deal. Pairing. All you can eat buffet on the way.
On the way? What's the game? Fucking hell. There'll be less movement than normal.
There you go.
Good work.
Yes, excellent.